All right, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
We have a couple of sessions left, so let's see. We've been at it for 3 full days. So at this point, usually the whole group is getting at least some pension, figuratively speaking. Some pension, which means that our true nature is readily available, is showing. But that's always the main course in this restaurant. Always the main meal. Recognizing our true nature. And by going back to that recognition, establishing it. For the sake of all sentient beings. And the past couple of days we've been focusing and healing ourselves, really wonderfully healing ourselves through the facet of happiness. Is that happiness also there? And if it isn't, please bring it back. Same, of course, with knowing awareness. May all beings be free, and may all beings also be happy. May I be free of self-delusion, and may I be happy. The less there is selfishness, the less there is emotional poisons, anger, jealousy, doubt, and therefore the less there is habits of trauma, compulsive habits of trauma, the more apparent this pure psyche, pure I, without any distortions, mistakes or faults, without anything lacking, is and becomes pure psyche. I discussed about this the other day, like earlier this year. This pure ego without selfishness, without hurtfulness, and without delusion. So we used the concept of I or me develops very early on in life, and in some cases some individuals don't even get that far before getting traumatized. But I think that for many of us, we do get there. We get some, although relatively short period, without foundational trauma. So probably there has been some period in our lives very early on when we actually had that pure psyche, pure ego that only had positive qualities and none of the negative ones. No fear, no anxiety, and later anger and irritation and frustration that comes out of those. Pure psyche, pure sense of self, which is the psychological counterpart of pure astral body. Psychological counterpart. And foundational psychological concept and experience. It simply gets and becomes distorted over life, and also self-illusion, separation. But we can recall that experience of pure psyche, pure I, pure me, pure self, just like we can recall and recognize, bring back the recognition of basic state from different perspectives, or focusing on different characteristics of it, qualities of it. But we need to know how to do that. We need to know what we are doing. But it is lovely, isn't it, to finally access something that many of us have been looking for a long time in our lives. So once again, may all beings be free, and may all beings be happy. May each one of us, through our practice, commitment and efforts, become free, establish basic freedom, and may we heal ourselves fully to not have any negativity or traumas, for the benefit of all. Alright, let's start moving to the mat. I think the other morning we traced the subtle bodies, do you think? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So let's start with that. can stand still for a moment. Just feeling the body from the inside. Kind of taking a snapshot of the whole body. The basic idea of drawing or painting or tracing the subtle bodies with hands, with the help of hands, is that we touch. We touch and therefore activate our subtle body. We keep doing that, bringing it back to life in different ways through different techniques. And at the same time, we can comb, just like when combing knotted hair, tangled hair, combing the channels, straightening them, opening them. So let's do that. There are light, thin channels, nadis inside the body, and meridians inside the body, like you know, and then nadis creating the whole aura, where the channels originate from the central line, the core of the vertical pillar, extending outwards, so you can comb like this, or you can just paint it, trace it any way, and then also the vertical pillar. So let's do that. Make sure when you go up and down that with your attention, with your awareness, you touch the far ends of the pillar, that you actually make a connection with Mahasiddha Bhumidis. And then once more connect up, and then let arms come down to the sides of the body. Sometimes in my personal practice, I don't really make a distinction, and I want to say this, tell you that I don't really make a distinction in my own practice when I am just recognizing my own basic nature and then not using mantras. But it might change in a moment. Suddenly I feel like chanting mantras, deity mantras or guru mantras, and so I don't really make distinction between doing like a pure awareness or Dzogchen type practice or tantric practice. So I go back and forth between the two. And those of you who have longer experience of practicing deities and with several gurus, to me it also happens, like I know it happens to senior practitioners in our Sangha, that you might start with one guru or deity and you just go through several, just spontaneously. So this is also very natural, that. But of course, in the beginning, when getting a hang of things, then it's maybe best to, stick with one or two gurus or one or two deities in the beginning, so that you lay a foundation. Let's continue with stepping. Softly, elastically. There is a video of Terayama Roshi on the Amrita Mandala YouTube channel, where you can see him do body work. And I've seen lots of yogis and qigong practitioners, tai chi folks, martial artists, do their thing, but I have never seen something that Terayama Roshi was capable of. So I recommend you to look at it, see how he moves, the quality of his presence in movement. Whole body at once, whole body unified. You will understand it only through doing enough reps. Change foot. Stepping straight forward and straight backward. Not swinging sideways, not even a little bit. Toes going straight forward. Heels going straight backward. like I said on the first day, I have chosen this stepping exercise, and of course yesterday we got into a little bit of combinations, which are many, but here we are doing just simple back and forth. But I chose it for a number of reasons. We can develop, you can continue, that body unity through standing practices that we also have, that I also teach. But standing, especially if I had put you to stand on this retreat, I think most of you would have not enjoyed it, because it is, well, I don't want to scare you away from standing practices, but it is quite challenging to start standing and to remain standing posture, even though you can make micro movements and adjustments all the time. It's a pretty steep wall to start learning climbing. So this is why we're doing stepping practices, and also for the reasons from the perspective of health and longevity, we need legs. We need to keep our legs moving, and it's easy to keep up your cardio by doing stepping exercises, and you also develop a skill set of, walking in a healthy way wherever you are walking, and develop that body unity. So there's a bunch of things that we can learn. Yet I haven't said anything about, well, I actually have just a moment ago, but we haven't used mantras or any practices. But you could do visualizations. I often, when I practice this at home, I chant mantras. We are going rhythmically back and forth, so you already have rhythm, and you can internally chant mantras, not maybe even momentarily aloud, say a few mantras. So you can put all the core elements together. But it shouldn't happen. The reason why I haven't really discussed this on this retreat, because you first have to learn how to move, how to do it physically. I think I mentioned, and again, I don't want to scare you away with this, the opposite actually, inspire you, but in Taoist temples, in traditional ones, there are still a few of them in China, where they practice in ancient ways, and also in Terayama Roshi's lineages. You would do basic practices like this a lot. 1, 2, 3 years before even thinking about something. And that is not to, keep beginners, not teaching the beginners, but to make your body healthy and strong, to have good stamina, cardio, muscle tone, and then learning how to use your body. Because it is pointless in physical arts, martial arts, internal martial arts, to start thinking about complex stuff if you don't understand body mechanics, movement mechanics. And this is very common, too common in the world of martial arts. People might have been practicing for many years and still their moving is very poor quality. We are not martial artists here, but the point is that we can do our physical practice as a recognition practice, so that the physical body is not, and movement is not left out from our cultivation. All right, let's take a breather. But maybe already after these just few days of doing a little bit of stepping practice, you might notice that, oh, I actually feel the contact, the connection with the stepping surface differently. So you don't have to be grinding it for months and months before you start noticing something. If you have the essential pieces, you know what to pay attention to in the exercise, you can start noticing the effects and benefits quickly. And there is Babaji's and Mataji's energy with us, their presence, which is always lovely. It's lovely to experience that they also care about us by showing up, kind of showing up uninvited. But they never force themselves on us, never. And Babaji, Mataji. All right, let's continue. Something that you can explore is that here we are in relaxed way swinging back and forth. But you can experiment a little bit with something that we use in Vajra body, which is dynamic pressure. So when you step forward, step with willpower, like pushing something with your whole body. And same when stepping backward, pushing back with your whole body mass, as if pushing against something. pushing, pulling, pushing, pushing. And again, it can be a very light push, light whole body push, medium intensity, hard intensity. And it can be soft push, or it can be more dynamic, even explosive push. What I've just told you within the last half an hour, you would have to spend 15 years in a traditional dojo in China or Japan, just smelling things out. They don't explain this stuff in traditional training places. It's okay. So the step can be short, it can be longer, it can be slow or faster. All these different, how do you say, parameters on physical level, energetic level, spiritual level. Change foot. Please keep going. So the advice of toes going forward and heels going backward, although it not might be literally so, the point is that when you're stepping forward, if your back foot is sideways, this is not efficient use of using the back foot. It's not efficient way of producing the physical movement and power to move forward. That's why if you put the back foot more aligned, toes towards the front, heel towards the back, you will notice that yes, the body can produce much more efficient step forward, backward. And if you're used to walking like Charlie Chaplin with like duck feet, it might feel a bit awkward, but your body gets hang of it, because that's how the joint is built. That's how the joint works most efficiently. Yesterday we did a little bit of that changing step, changing feet in the front or changing feet in the back. Let's give that a go a little bit. So here, look forward, and then you can take some line, like a side of the door, something, a vertical line, so that you can see if your own body is staying completely vertical all the time, or if it's swinging sideways like this, even mildly, you can correct yourself by comparing the vertical line of the body with some physical vertical line in front of you. And it's just to, what is that? Just to make the movement more efficient. Just to give you a better sense of moving the body as one unit. So when stepping, what you're doing is that, and what happens in the beginning, it's natural. You're kind of doing this. So your vertical line is swinging all directions, but so you're shifting weight in the front or in the back, and you're kind of, your feet are, legs are pretty close together, so you can kind of hide the shifting of weight. And because of that, your vertical line remains upright. So this is simply, again, efficiency in physical movement. All right, and then we are already past my time. Let's do two sets of prostrations and just one set of rolling on the back. And then rolling on the back. Just one set is enough. Let's sit a minute or two. Okay. Then remove body on.